Today I'm going to give you a very quick rundown of my experience using the Thermarest Questar sleeping bag. This is the -6 centigrade version. That is the limit point. Comfort rating is 0, and we'll just go through some of the features and then I'll have a very quick delve into those and tell you how it's been when I've been using it. The bag features Hydrophobic Down, which is water resistant, and once again I'll elaborate on these a bit later into what they mean. It comes with warm fit, which means with additional room for multiple positions. Synergy link connectors, which are some straps which go underneath the bag and connect it to the mat that you're sleeping on. It has zoned insulation, which means that there is minimal insulation underneath the mat, and on top and the sides it has considerably more. Comes with a great draft collar, full length zip down the side of the bag. It has a snag-free zipper, a hood which cinches round quite nicely, comes with a big external pocket, a compression stack and a storage sack, and that's important, we'll come to that later. It weighs 0.9 kilograms and it has a DWR shell, which basically means a durable water resistant outer. So I've just sat here and reeled off to you a bunch of features and all these big words, bigger sort of phrases for what different companies use for their own systems. But ultimately the question is, do these work, and what do they all mean? I've used this sleeping bag in the mountains of Scotland, in -1 temperatures, Ireland, Yorkshire, South Downs way, so it's had a good bit of use. So 650 hydrophobic down, what does that mean? Well, this is down, which is essentially feathers, which has been treated with a hydrophobic or water-hating chemical, and that means that it is less water absorbent, and the great thing about that is that if down gets wet, it becomes less insulating, it loses its insulating properties. So it is important that you keep down dry. So that treatment is supposed to help with that water resistance. Some say it makes it up to 90% water resistant. Again, it's a claim, but it seems to be quite popular now amongst many manufacturers. So why would you not go synthetic? Well, you can go synthetic, there's no reason not to. The only thing is that down has a much better weight to warmth ratio. So down's a lot lighter and it creates a lot more warmth. So that's one reason you'd go down. I have a synthetic sleeping bag too. It is heavier. It packs up to a little bit of a larger size. That's a Vango Ultralight 600. This one is definitely lighter. I prefer it for a few other reasons other than the down. Anyway, we'll come to that later. Thermarest have what is called the warm system with this sleeping bag, and that basically stands for with additional room for manoeuvre. So for those of you who toss and turn in your sleeping bags at night like I do, I'm a side sleeper, sometimes I might even sleep on my stomach, it means that when you are moving in the bag you're not feeling constrained, and this bag does have more room in it for multiple positions. If you look on their website or on one of the Thermarest videos, it's got someone giving you an example of lots of nice cozy looking positions in ideal conditions. But I have found there is more room in this bag and I definitely don't feel constrained, which is really nice. It comes with synergy link connectors. Now, what are they? Well, those are the connectors underneath the bag, and they hold the sleeping bag in place on your mat, and that for me was quite an important part of buying this particular sleeping bag. It really annoys me when I wake up in the night on multiple occasions and my mat is here and my sleeping bag is here, or even worse. So those without a doubt work. My sleeping bag, since getting this mat, so this sleeping bag, has not come off the mat at all, and for that I'm really happy. It has a toe warmer box inside it. I can't remember what they call it, but it's some sort of foot box. And this is basically an extra flat sort of layer where your feet can go inside. Does it work? Possibly. It's it's kind of cocooning your feet in another smaller area inside the sleeping bag. I've never had cold toes in this sleeping bag, but in all honesty, in my synthetic sleeping bag, I didn't have cold toes either. So it does feel nice though, and I think that possibly in really cold conditions beyond where I've taken it, it could have a benefit. So jury's out that for me, really. The draft collar around your neck is really big, really cozy, and I like that. Lots of sleeping bags do have it. This one has a cinch cord, so you can cinch it round, and it does stop any drafts going in there, which is great. The zip is full length, and again, that's something I really like, because getting in and out of your sleeping bag with a zip that is half of a bag, if you like, can be pretty annoying. And it can be, if you've got to get up in the middle of the night, you really don't want to be battling with getting in and out of your bag when you're trying to get back to sleep. It's supposed to be anti-snag, and again, I've got to say, on this particular sleeping bag, that does work. On my other sleeping bag, it can get snagged at times, and again, that's just really annoying. I've tried on this bag to actually snag it, and I can't do it. So that is a really effective feature they have on this bag, which I'm quite happy with. The hood, again, it's nice and big, cinches around your face with a really simple one-handed cord that you can release and tighten up, and it also has lots of room for your pillow to go into. So again, quite standard on a lot of bags, nothing major to write home about, but it works and it's great. What I do like is it's got quite a nice big external pocket. There's room in there for a hat, and additionally I sometimes keep my mobile phone in there, because keeping electrical items warm can stop them from reducing their power and losing power. When something gets cold, it tends to lose its power quicker. So keeping your mobile phone in that pocket is also handy for that, and anything else you might want to keep close to you. Yeah, it's got a nice compression bag, brings it down to, I can't remember what size it is, but it's pretty small. I'll put the dimensions up. Importantly, it also comes with a separate storage bag, which you can see. Now, that's important because with down, you need to let it loft when it's not being used, as again, the lofting is what creates the warmth insulation. So having that bag there and being able to, when you're at home, store it somewhere in a much bigger space that allows it to loft is really important. So that's a nice little touch as well. The outer of the bag comes with a DWR shell, that's durable, water resistant coating. And this has been handy when I've had condensation in my tent. It's kept the sleeping bag dry and able to continue with its insulating. It comes with what's called zoned insulation. Now this is an interesting area. There's lots to talk about the best way to keep yourself warm using sleeping bags, mats, and so on. So underneath the sleeping bag, there's actually less down insulation than there is in the tops and the sides. The reason for that is if you compress down, as I've previously mentioned, it loses a lot of its insulating properties. So therefore, having less underneath does make sense. And the important thing with that is that you pair it with a good mat with a decent R rating. Now the R rating is something I'll talk about in another video, or you can go and look it up somewhere, but it basically is how warm the mat is. So having less insulation underneath does make sense in terms of keeping the weight down of this bag. I've been out in 0 degree temperatures with an R-rated mat of 4.4 and didn't feel any cold under the bag at all. The upper filling and the side filling is really nice. It lofts up well, and again, that's what helps keep you insulated. And on that note, a sleeping bag doesn't make you warm. People can often wonder, they might get into a sleeping bag that's got loads of insulation but they're still cold. Well, what a sleeping bag does is it simply keeps warm what you're putting into it. So if you get into a sleeping bag cold, the sleeping bag isn't necessarily going to warm you up. It'll stop you getting colder, but a good thing to do before you get into the sleeping bag is do some star jumps, or make sure you've eaten a good meal so that your body is releasing heat into that bag, and it's then keeping those thermal properties there and keeping you warm. So would I recommend this bag for the cost, which it's not a cheap bag. I think I paid around 170 to 200 pounds, I can't remember exactly. what I paid for it. But would I recommend this bag? Personally, yeah, it's kept me warm, it's light, it is really cozy, and I like that. When you get into a sleeping bag after a long hike up some mountains, you want to get in there, you want to feel nice and cozy, and that's exactly how you feel in this bag. The inner is nice and soft, it feels quite luxurious to sleep in. And all the features that I've already mentioned are nice touches. And for me, one of the winning things, of course, is those Synergy Link connectors underneath. Personally, I'm happy with the sleeping bag. It comes in 3 temperature ratings, as I've mentioned. For me, the type of hiking I do around the UK, mainly Scotland and Ireland included, going down to -6 as its limit point, that works for me. I do use an additional liner if I need to bump up my warmth ratings even more. Enjoy your camping, guys.